seconds away on Studio 5.
It was a triplet kind of a melody, remember?
Behind the scenes with one of the biggest bands in the world, we have your first look at the film Hillsong, Let Hope Rise. Then,
everything starts with humble beginnings.
See how this theatrical worship experience really started on the heart of one man with a tiny church in Australia, oh so long ago.
One of the first people to come into the church to be born again was a bass player, and his wife was a nightclub singer. So that was the start. It was extremely humble. Nobody said, oh, this is going to really go somewhere.
And sample that undeniable sound that now has millions singing along on any given Sunday.
Only sound forever, heart and heaven together, singing holy is your name.
That's what's playing in my ear in this Hillsong edition of Studio 5, and it starts now. Your love is relentless. That is the undeniable sound of Hillsong United, whose music is performed by more than 50 million people across the globe on any given Sunday. The band's spectacular rise to prominence is the focus of the new film, Hillsong, Let Hope Rise. We'll get to the movie, the music, and the message in today's Studio 5. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your company. Let's get started with this week's rundown of what's trending in the world of uplifting entertainment. This is your top 5 from Studio 5. At number 5.
I was talking to less than 10 people when I started, and my mother said, don't let this beat you. Don't you dare quit. She brought me into my destiny. So when people ask me, why am I doing this show? It's because it's my destiny to help you find yours.
The start of the new Bishop T.D. Jakes talk show.
I think if we attack the issue and not the individual, we are far more effective.
Check your local listings for the hour-long program, which began airing Monday.
Be on me, Mark!
At number 4.
In the end, I'm going to be judged by 208 seconds.
Sully made quite a splash at the weekend box office. With Tom Hanks and Clint Eastwood on opposite sides of the camera, the saga of 2009's Miracle on the Hudson took first place with an estimated $35.5 million.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
Had even one person not survived, it would have changed the nature of the event for me entirely. My definition of success was absolute, it was complete. And so I'm very, very grateful of what we achieved that day.
At number 3, actors George Clooney and Don Cheadle use their star power to unveil a major report on war profiteering in South Sudan.
This morning, we're prepared to give evidence of massive criminal behavior by the president of South Sudan.
The massive investigation Clooney delivered to the president comes from a human rights organization he created. It urges the international community to crack down on banks that failed to stop dubious transactions and to freeze assets on those responsible for human rights violations.
The simple fact is, they're stealing the money to fund their militias to attack and kill one another.
At number 2.
We came here to celebrate the National Park Service's centennial.
And thanks to National Geographic, you can now take a 360-degree virtual tour of Yosemite National Park with President Obama as your tour guide. The rich history of black art, entertainment, and culture come to life in our nation's capital and fill the top spot in this week's Top 5.
This museum will challenge your emotions. Tears will be shed here. But there's joy to be found too.
You gotta say this is cool.
Like Chuck Berry's Cherry Red Cadillac.
That opening is September 24th. And those are your top 5 for this week. Their songs have been translated into 60 languages, and the band has sold more than 17 million albums. Those facts about Hillsong United got the attention of Michael John Warren. He's the film director behind Jay-Z's Fade to Black and Nicki Minaj's My Time Now. And Warren now brings Hillsong United, Let Hope Rise to the big screen. And Studio 5 has your first look.
There was a triplet kind of a melody, remember?
Do you want a line? Something to start with?
Yeah. Bye.
See the light as it coming around.
What's that?
I was just writing a line.
And I liked it, what was it?
It's something that just came to my head as I walked in the studio.
Are you dead serious?
Yes.
That's another song. I can tell when you give me.
Okay,
I'm gonna feel like an idiot. I feel like you said that's a Katy Perry song.
No. That was 100% the truth. Pick a key and we'll make
Okay, wait.
See the light as it's coming around. I know you.
That's horrible.
I know that when they first said a movie about Hillsong United, you guys said, why make a movie about us? So now that we've got it, what do you think?
Kind of the same. Is anyone going to want to watch it?
Yeah. I love that the message of, again, the things that we actually care about, the thing that we want to encourage people the most is actually threaded throughout the film. And I think Hillsong Let Hope Rise it's a film that has a message of hope.
I don't know, there's this concept that we've been thinking about here. It's like everything in the world is upwardly focused. Everything in the world is like, gotta have the best of this, gotta have the best of that, gotta get the promotion, gotta make more money. But the way of Jesus or the way of God is actually downward focused. And we just need to serve people, we need to love people.
So you go from doing films on Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj to Hillsong?
Yeah.
Natural progression?
Yeah, actually. You know, with music films, the story is a little bit challenging, you know, because what's really at stake for a pop artist? And the answer is, you know, they're trying to stay hot, they're trying to prove they're the best rapper. I mean, there's a lot of drama there, and certainly with an artist like Nicki, there's just drama. Thank God. And for them, with Hillsong, for me, I saw a unique story. They're not trying to do those things. Of course, they're crafting, and of course, they want to sell albums, not just necessarily for financial gain, but their mission is to connect people to heaven. And as a storyteller, I was like, that's unique. That is a new, I don't want to say twist because that cheapens it, but the root level of what they're after is very, very deep and very, very meaningful, and I felt had the potential to be an emotional story. And we were right.
Some people don't actually know how to worship God, or they haven't encountered Him before, so sometimes all they need is like someone just to lift their hands for them to go, oh, like maybe I should do that. And like actually lifting your hands is like a sign of surrender, and so I love doing it all the time. You see me.
Taya, I guess one of the things that surprised me in the film is you arrive in Sydney with $200 and just, Lord, use me?
Yeah, it was a faith step. It was a faith step. Moved out of home, felt like it was the right time, even though, like you said, I only had $200 in the bank, but I was just trusting God with it, and turns out it was the best move I could have ever made, and it was like God's timing, and He provided jobs, and I feel like my relationship with Him got stronger because I was like, I literally have nothing, and I have you, God, so like we need to make this work, otherwise I'll have to move back home. And it was the best experience ever. Got planted in a lovely, amazing church, Hillsong Church, and then got to be part of the worship team, and then eventually travel with Hillsong United, and it's been the ride of my life. So
This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Jesus,
And that is your first look at the film. Hillsong Let Hope Rise begins its nationwide theater run September 16th. Still to come here on Studio 5.
This church isn't the church you started 40 years ago.
That's for sure.
Hillsong's founder opens up about the worst day of his life along the road of living, loving, and leading a global ministry.
You couldn't hit me with worse news. It sort of hit me in layers.
Turn my eyes to see your face, so my fears surrender. Hold my heart within this grace, burden turns to wonder.
That's Love is War from Hillsong United. Its music and ministry is a dream come true for Brian Houston. He started the church decades ago with only a few dozen members, but it hasn't been an easy journey. Houston opened up about the ups and downs in this week's Studio 5 interview.
The power of love.
More than 20,000 people attend services at Hillsong Church on any given Sunday, with campuses in Sydney, Kiev, Moscow, New York City, London, Cape Town, Paris, and so many more. And leading the worldwide flock is global pastor Brian Houston, who shares some of the journey in his book, Live, Love, Lead.
The book's been in my heart for a long time. I have been pastoring for 32 years, same church, 40 years preaching and ministering, and I just felt like there was a lot in me I wanted to use to help other people, equip other people. So the timing right now just seemed to be the right time. I had the time to actually write the book. And so Live, Love, Lead, that's where I am.
Houston and his wife Bobby first started Hillsong in 1983, meeting in a school hall and then a warehouse with only 45 members. It grew to 900 people in 4 years and continues to multiply.
This church isn't the church you started 40 years ago.
That's for sure. No, we started in a little school hall in the outer suburbs of Sydney. In those days, it was like green fields where we were, and we were in a small hall, as I say, and it is an amazing story. I mean, it's a miracle.
What's been the toughest part of those 40 years for you?
Well, I talk in the book about the worst day of my life. I was 45, it was in 1999. My father was my absolute hero. In fact, he was one of my great inspirations in terms of what I do today. And at 45, one of the guys who works for me came into my office and we went through our normal list of things to talk about. And at the end, he said, there's just one more thing. And so the way he said it, the tone, I knew something was wrong, and he told me that we'd had a complaint come in that many years before that, probably in the 1970s, that my father had abused a young man. So, yeah, I mean, you couldn't hit me with worse news. It sort of hit me in layers, and so I had to confront my own father and ask him about that. So that definitely is the worst day of my life.
How did that resolve itself? I can't even imagine navigating that.
I don't know whether it has resolved itself as such. My father now has been dead for over 10 years, but the ramifications of that are still playing out right now.
What lessons did God allow that to teach you?
You know, one thing I do know is it wasn't me. I didn't do anything wrong. It was my father. And you know, in the world we live, there's some people who would love to try and frame me by my father's sin, but I refuse to let that happen. But I guess it helped me to realise that everyone has their issues, has their battle, whatever that is, and that's why I think everyone is a perfect recipient for the gospel of Jesus, the grace of God.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders.
And with more than 40 recordings to their credit, music is a Hillsong signature. Their contemporary Christian praise songs are the Sunday soundtrack for churches around the world.
When many people think of Hillsong before they even think of the church and your ministry now, the music is so far-reaching. What do you think? I mean, are you a musician? What Why
I was the church drummer when I was a teenager. But compared with the people today, no, I'm not a musician. But I always had a heart to pastor the kind of church that was an inspiration to churches. I'm a great believer in the potential of the church, and I mean the local church. And so I always kind of wanted to have a church where we wrote and sung songs that helped the church. And so it's an amazing thing because been through various personalities over all these years, but really from the start, it seems the songs from our church struck a chord with people, firstly in Australia, obviously, and then globally. And it's been a miracle story. Someone once said to me, Brian, you realise this is only a season. They're talking about the impact of the worship from Hillsong. And I agree, it's only a season, but so far it's been a very long season.
Houston's book, Live, Love, Lead, is available online and wherever books are sold. Up next on Studio 5.
And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves.
Getting back to the music and the signature sound.
Rest in your embrace, for I am yours.
That has millions singing along. Chances are you've heard that song before. Oceans is one of Hillsong's most popular tunes. It spent a record-breaking 45 weeks at #1 on Billboard's Hot Christian Songs chart. And 3 years after its release, it still ranks high. The artist leading that song is Taya Smith, who has been with Hillsong since 2010. And right now, her song, Touch the Sky, is what's playing in my ear.
Watching lights beyond the stars, those stars and heights too vast to climb. I got so high to fall so far, but I found heaven as love swept low. My heart beating, my soul breathing. I found my life when I laid it down. Found me here at your feet again. Everything I am, reaching out, I surrender. Come sweep me up in your love again, and my soul will dance on the wings of forever. Found me here at your feet again. Everything I am, reaching out, I surrender. Come sweep me up in your love again, and my soul will dance on the wings of forever. My heart beating, my soul breathing. I found my life when I laid it down. Upward falling, spirit soaring. I touch the sky when my knees hit the ground. My heart beating, my soul breathing. I found my life when I laid it down. Upward falling, spirit soaring. I touch the sky when my knees hit the ground. Find me here at your feet again. Everything I am, reaching out, I surrender. Come sweep me up in your love again, and my soul will dance on the wings of forever. Upward falling, spirit.
Touch the Sky is one of the songs you'll hear in Let Hope Rise. The soundtrack for the film is available now. Be sure to check it out and add it to your worship rotation. And still to come on Studio 5.
Honestly, it's a ragamuffin group of ordinary people.
He's not just the band leader, he's the heartbeat of the Hillsong United sound.
I honestly believe that music is a gift from God, that was created by God
for the very purpose of people worshiping Him.
And he's got a heart word for Studio 5. And welcome back to Studio 5. Before we get to the final word, let's take a look at what's in store for next week's episode.
No matter where you're from, this ship is your body. That drum is your heartbeat. And your God.
When I walked out, all I could think was, you guys don't do anything small, do you?
Yeah, this redefines epic, doesn't it?
The wait is over. Studio 5 is taking you behind the scenes for an exclusive look at the remake of a classic film.
What is your name?
Benna. Meet the directors and cast to see why the film has been so long in the making. It's a Studio 5 episode you won't want to miss. One could argue Hillsong United is a collective of some of the most creative worship artists in the world. But Joel Houston, a worship leader with Hillsong, would probably disagree with you. He explains why in today's final word.
I believe that God, all music is God-breathed. All of it, all creativity. So Beyonce's music, like God is given that gift to her. How people translate it or how people use it, that's up to them, but God still works through it. And I fell in love with music, not through Christian music. I fell in love with music through Nirvana, as an 11-year-old, kind of going, what is this? So taping over my Carmen cassette, God bless Carmen, but with Nirvana and listening to it, so I didn't get caught. And but what I learned was, there's an honesty and there's something about music that connects with the deep aspects of people where they're at, and the music of Nirvana way back in the day, it connected with an entire generation, and that's amazing. So every culture on earth, every society, they've got a sound. There's a music, there's a song that goes with it, and I believe that the kingdom, which is the culture that we're trying to bring to earth, it should have a sound that goes with it, and there is. It's the sound of heaven, and we're just trying to tap into even just a little bit of it.
God is the only one with the power to create. That is the final word for this show. Until next time, be sure to reach out and touch me at F from Graham on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as Snapchat. And then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye.